It feels like it's been years since I've done one of these race reviews. Like, I don't even remember the last time I did one. I didn't even do a review of Watkins Glen, did I? What did I say about... No, wait. Was it Bristol? It feels like it's been years since I've done one of these. Okay, and I've got a lot to talk about, so this is probably going to be a long video because the race was long and generally good. So why don't we talk about the race in this race review? Oh, that's a novel concept, isn't it? Okay, so it started out, and yeah, it definitely started. I could tell from the very first, the very first start, lap 1, that the leader has a clear advantage when coming to the green flag, and whoever's in the row behind him has an advantage to go to second or the lead in the first corner, which is why I thought it would make the best to start on the outside lane, so you could pin third place in the outside line, and then the inside line slows down and all that crazy business. We saw that with the Casey Kane restart. That was when he was able to pull out pretty far, even though he only had 2 fresh tires. Anyway, what I noticed is that with the tire fall off, it looked to me like clean air still wins in the first couple of laps, especially with that final restart. Because Edwards really didn't do much all day until the end when he got the lead. And even you could make the Casey Kane restart as an argument. He only took 2 tires. He should have been slow as shit. The Tony Stewart restart, he didn't go into the pit stop at all. And he was still able to stick it for a good 15 laps there. And, well, maybe not 15, but you get the idea. I say clean air still wins for the first couple of laps. And sure, there was a lot of people that stayed out on the Tony Stewart restart, but the ones that didn't stay out took 4 tires. So they were kind of lightning fast. Yeah, kind of lightning fast. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. But in general, oh my god, that was a great race. The Xfinity race, I was just laying in my bed and I was like, oh my god, when will this end? And I couldn't stand watching it, and then Suarez took the lead, and I was like, come on, Suarez, don't go into the pit stop. And then Hamlin passed him with like 2 to go, and I was like, fuck this, and turned off the TV and didn't even look up anything about NASCAR for the rest of the day. This race, however, it's the longest race of the year, and I was like, man, keep going, just keep going. It was just like Kentucky. Add another 100 laps to the end of this run. I didn't want that to end. I mean, maybe I would have eventually, but I mean, I just remember, I'm just sitting here thinking, and it's like, it's been going for so long, and we're not even at halfway yet. And I was amazed at how much I didn't care about that. I mean, Michigan. When Michigan was happening, it was just like the Xfinity race. I was just laying there like, ugh, when will this end? Half asleep. And then this one, I'm kicking back and I'm paying attention. I wasn't on the edge of my seat the entire time, but there was stuff happening, which is something you can say that is not normal for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series as of late. And this had the potential for Race of the Year, undoubtedly. Throwback paint schemes at Darlington with the low downforce package back on Labor Day at night. And not to mention that, but Ken Squire and Ned Jarrett on commentary. That was a magical moment. It was a long moment, but still magical nonetheless. I mean, that just sealed the deal. That was fantastic. That was great. That was a great time. But anyway, yeah. There's so much to talk about. It wasn't until that last 50 or so laps before the final caution that we were able to see a long green flag run. I mean, the longest green flag run had to be like, what, 25 laps before that, and then they got a good 50 in? I mean, we really weren't able to see exactly how well this package was doing on the long run. And even after such a long green flag run, there were 4-car breakaways for the lead. Keselowski, Harvick, and Edwards. I mean, that was good shit. I mean, Harvick would try and get to Keselowski and wouldn't be able to do it, and then Carl Edwards would catch up to the leaders. When have you heard of anyone catching up to the leader? That's not a thing that happens anymore. And then Edwards would try to pass him, and Harvick would come back, and it would just, that was good. That was good stuff. That was good racing. And it's unfortunate too, because that last caution didn't need to happen. Burton spun out. He might have hit the wall a little bit, but he kept it going forward. There was no need for that caution at all at the end. I think they just wanted to get the record, is all. Because there was absolutely no need for that caution. They could have kept going, and that would have been great if they had, because the racing was so good. Like, I can't imagine, like, some of these races, how they would have turned out if there wasn't a caution with 10 to go. And I mean, that was good racing. I was worried there for a second that Logano was going to catch up to them, and I was just going to be like, fuck that shit. And you know, I'm amazed at how much I do not care at all about Carl Edwards. I mean, it's kind of crazy to think that after all these races that he has done in the past, and all the races that he's done this year, and he's won 2 of them now, and I'm sitting here thinking, wow, I don't care at all that Carl Edwards won this race. I was disappointed because my prediction at the start of this year said that he was going to win exactly 1 race. So I suppose, unless we're going to start playing politics with the whole fuel mileage victory, and we're just going to have to throw that prediction out, as well as most of the others so far this year. Yep. But I don't know what it was about this package, but we were able to see names up there that you had no idea were any good. Like, we had Bane in the top 10. We had Matt DiBenedetto. Wow. That 83 was flying this weekend. I mean, jeez. I was glad to see that, and I was seeing the rest of the BK cars just going around in circles backwards. And you saw Matt DiBenedetto get a lead lap finish in the top 30. Damn, son, that was a good race. And it seems Landon Castle was in the top 10 for a good amount of time. Landon Castle. I mean, it all sorted itself out and made sense in the end. Everyone in the top 10 was someone that you could reasonably see being in the top 10 any week. And once again, Danica being Danica, Stenhouse being Stenhouse. It was a shame because his paint scheme was top notch, and Bane wrecking twice, and I'm just sitting there thinking, why is this guy still in NASCAR again? Why is this guy in the Sprint Cup Series exactly? there's a certain busher in the Busch series that would sure like a Sprint Cup ride, and you know, he's got, I'd say, options going into next year. I don't know about Bubba yet. Ryan Reed is a joke, though. It's a good thing he's the one in the 16, you see, so he can stay in the Xfinity series, and we don't have to worry about Greg Biffle exploding into 1,000 pieces, because he was able to keep, he did the one thing that Roush drivers could not do this weekend, and that is keep it off the wall when he spun. And it led to like a top 20 finish or something. Which, you know, is kind of pathetic. But looking at the state of Roush, that's a good finish. Oh, you know you're in deep shit when you compete week in and week out with BK Racing as to who is the most pathetic team on the track. I tell you what. DiBenedetto, though, damn son, that is good shit. And who else did I enjoy watching? Of course, they didn't ever show him on the broadcast. I just had to pay attention to the ticker. Alex Bowman keeping it alive. Only finished like 2 laps down, I think, even after all those wrecks. Mike Bliss is getting too old for this shit. He needs a he needs to have a different car. That's all I'm saying. Josh Wise in the Tide car. I'm disappointed that didn't make the race, but that would have been a lot better if he had made the race. I would have liked that a lot more. I don't even care at all about Josh Wise, but that 32 Tide car was pretty badass. And he, you know, was one of the faster of the go or go home cars, but still had to go home because, you know, got to make sure that 98 is a moving chicane on the track. You know, got to make sure that the 98 is in the way as much as possible. So, yeah. Good on them, good on them. Anyway, yeah, that's about all I've got to say. The cautions were ridiculous. The finish is unfortunate because the rest of the race was, I don't know what the fuck's in my eye, but it's starting to piss me off. The rest of the race was stellar. Not race of the year material, but it was a very good race nonetheless. And while it was long, I was still watching the whole thing. And that says something about this. Like, the Xfinity race, I was sitting there like, fuck this. You know all the things that I could be doing right now? I could be having a life right now, but instead I'm sitting here watching Cup drivers pace the field for way too fucking long. That was one of the Xfinity races, one of the shortest of the year. And then the Sprint Cup race comes back, and like the Xfinity race, shortest of the year. I'm sitting there thinking, let this shit end. Sprint Cup race, the very next day. Longest race of the year, watching this shit. And I'm like, don't let it end. Go another 100 laps. So, that's basically the extent of my commentary on this event. All in all, solid 8 out of 10. Very, very good race. The finish takes away a point because there was no need for that caution at all, and clean air still prevailed on the restart because they restarted with like 9 to go, and that's about a tire run before they started, you know, dropping off and stuff. If it had gone another 10 laps, we might have been able to see a good finish, but... And I'll take another point away for Truex finishing 9th. Should have been a win, but something fucked up on the second to final run there. And then the pit road was a mess for Truex, so that was sad. That was sadistic. Yeah, I'd say that's about it. So, 8 out of 10. Good race. Good race. We're probably never going to see anything as good as that race again, which is unfortunate. So, hold this one in your hearts. I brought out a throwback 2010 Mark Martin shirt for this. I would have been able to show that on the live stream if it hadn't been for shitty fucking Google Plus and all that bullshit. But anyway. Thanks for watching. Bye.